Under the bright lights of women's basketball, where narratives are often shaped as much by perception as performance, a storm had been brewing around the Indiana Fever. Rumors swirled of locker room divides, of tension between young stars, and of a franchise not quite ready to handle the spotlight thrust upon it. Yet in the middle of it all stood Aaliyah Boston, calm, grounded, and unwilling to let outside noise dictate the truth. Her latest interview revealed not only her own resilience but also a fiery defense of Caitlin Clark, her teammate, her partner on the court, and the catalyst for much of the chaos surrounding their team. And in the process, Boston may have silenced one of her most vocal critics, Sheryl Swoopes, proving once again that sometimes the best clapback isn't a direct confrontation but the truth told with confidence and clarity. It all began with Boston reflecting on her transition from battling Caitlin Clark in one of the most unforgettable Final Four matchups to suddenly sharing a locker room with her. The memory still stings. Clark had poured in 40 points that night, a performance that buried Boston's South Carolina squad and cemented Clark as one of the most electric scorers college basketball had ever seen. Boston admitted she couldn't just let that go unspoken. So, in the early days of their Fever partnership, she looked Caitlin in the eye and said it, "I'm still mad at you for dropping 40 on us." But the moment, instead of sparking tension, ended in laughter. Boston wasn't harboring resentment, she was breaking the ice. That honesty, that humor, became the foundation of a partnership that has since grown into one of the WNBA's most dangerous duos. From there, Boston spoke about what makes their connection work. It isn't just skill, it's chemistry. She watches Clark's eyes in real time, reading the floor as Clark scans for passing lanes. No words are needed. Clark draws defenders with her range, Boston seals her spot in the paint, and the ball arrives like clockwork. What might look like instinct to fans is really a refined trust-built possession after possession. Their pick-and-roll isn't just basketball strategy, it's a symphony of timing and anticipation. And in Boston's eyes, the bond was never in question. But while their on-court connection was strengthening, the outside world was spinning a very different tale. From the moment Clark arrived in Indiana, the spotlight grew unbearable. Every glance, every missed pass, every shrug of the shoulders became fodder for social media speculation. Were Boston and Clark at odds? Was there resentment? Was the locker room fractured? Boston laughed at the absurdity. She recalled logging onto her phone after a nap only to see strangers declaring that the Fever hated each other. She walked into the locker room, asked her teammates if they were good, and they just shook their heads in disbelief. For Boston, the real problem wasn't Clark or chemistry or even the losing streaks early in the season. Problem was a narrative that outsiders insisted on writing without ever setting foot inside the Fever's locker room. And that's where Sheryl Swoopes comes in. The Hall of Famer had fueled those rumors, suggesting that key Fever players didn't even want to be in Indiana, insinuating turmoil and discontent behind the scenes. But Boston's words cut through that speculation like a blade. The locker room, she insisted, was strong. Teams supported one another. Whatever outsiders thought they saw was nothing more than projection. And in that moment, Boston didn't just defend her team, she defended Caitlin Clark, the rookie unfairly made the scapegoat for the Fever's growing pains. With quiet confidence, Boston turned Swoopes' narrative on its head, proving that the story of Indiana wasn't one of dysfunction but of unity. That unity was tested almost immediately. Expectations skyrocketed after Clark's arrival. The Caitlin Clark effect was real. Sold-out arenas, surging television ratings, new fans flocking to the WNBA in droves. But with that came pressure, and Boston admitted the strain was real. She spoke candidly about logging off social media, needing to shield herself from trolls who called her the worst post player they had ever seen. For a competitor who already holds herself to impossibly high standards, the criticism cut deep. Yet even in those moments, she refused to shift blame onto Clark. Instead, she embraced the attention Clark brought, knowing it elevated the league as a whole. If new fans came for Caitlin but left appreciating the whole roster, then it was a win for everyone. Still, the Fever's 2024 playoff run was short-lived, ending in heartbreak against a seasoned Connecticut team. For Boston, the sting wasn't in losing but in knowing they were close, so close, to breaking through. She believed if the series had gone to a decisive third game back in Indiana, the Fever could have pulled it off. That near miss fueled her hunger for the following season, sharpening her mindset from hopeful underdog to determined contender. No more sneaking up on opponents. No more moral victories. The Fever were out to dominate. And yet, the 2025 campaign delivered challenges they hadn't anticipated. Injuries piled up, none more devastating than Caitlin Clark going down mid-season. For a team still learning its identity, losing its offensive engine could have been catastrophic. But Boston revealed the mindset instilled from day one. Next woman up. Excuses weren't allowed. Every player had to be ready to step in no matter the role. Still, she acknowledged that Clark's absence fundamentally altered the game. With Clark, the pace was electric, fast breaks, deep threes, constant motion. Without her, the Fever slowed down, leaning on half-court execution and grinding possessions. It wasn't worse, just different, and learning to thrive in both systems gave them a new adaptability. What kept the team afloat during those turbulent weeks was leadership, both young and veteran. Boston herself stepped into a larger role, not just as a scorer and rebounder but as an emotional anchor. And she credited veterans like Natasha Howard, Kelsey Mitchell, Sophie Cunningham, and especially Sydney Colson for holding the group together. Colson, often seen by fans as the team's comedian, revealed a deeper side behind the scenes, knowing when to pull a teammate aside, when to crack a joke, and when to deliver words of encouragement that hit at just the right time. Boston admitted that sometimes, when her own frustration boiled beneath the surface, Colson's words pulled her back from the edge. That, she said, is the kind of leadership you can't teach. Through it all, Boston kept her focus on what mattered most: growth, resilience, and the unshakable belief that the Fever's best days were still ahead. And now, with the team locked in a grueling semifinal battle against the Las Vegas Aces, Boston has emerged as the rock of the franchise. Injuries may have thinned the roster, but the Fever's resolve has only hardened.